Okay, so let's talk about the parabola. The standard form for the equation of a parabola you may have seen before is f of x equals x minus h squared plus k. And h and k are your coordinates of your vertex. And if a is positive, it opens up. And if a is negative, it opens down. And so your vertex would be h comma k there. And your vertex here would be h comma k that way. But in this screencast, we're going to talk about parabolas that open to the left and to the right. So now we're going to talk about all different kinds of parabolas besides the ones that just open up and down. And so let's get a general definition of a parabola. So a parabola is a set of points in a plane that are equidistant from a fixed line, we call that line the directrix, and a fixed point not on the line, which we call the focus. And then we have a line through the focus and perpendicular to the directrix, and that's called the axis of symmetry. So here's a picture of all the different stuff, okay? So the distance from the focus to the vertex is P, and the vertex is exactly in the middle of the focus and the directrix. So that distance right there is also P. Okay, now this segment right here is called a latus rectum, and it determines how wide the parabola is. And its length is always 4p. Okay, so here's our axis of symmetry. It's going right through the vertex, and it splits the parabola into two equal halves. So now let's look at another way of expressing the equation of a parabola. The standard conic form of a parabola with vertex at the origin, that means the vertex is at 0, 0, is y squared equals 4p times x if the parabola is opening left or right, and x squared equals 4py if the parabola is opening up or down. And let's do an example. Graph the parabola that has the equation y squared equals negative 4x. Okay, so our vertex is at 0, 0, so let's put that point right there. Now, 4p is equal to negative 4, which means p is negative 1. And you'll notice that y is being squared, so that means this is opening either left or right. Well, since p is negative, the parabola is opening to the left. The focus is always inside the parabola. Okay? Now, the latus rectum goes through the focus, and it is 4p at 4 times the absolute value of p, which is 4. So that means I'm going to go 1, 2 in that way, and 1, 2 in that way. And our parabola is going like that. Okay? Oh, let's go ahead and do the directrix. Since p is negative 1 to get to the focus, it's going to be positive 1 to get to the directrix. So there's your directrix. And our axis of symmetry is going right through the focus and the vertex like that. So there's our axis of symmetry, and there's our directrix. And there is our focus right there. Well, obviously the vertex is not always at the origin 0, 0, and if it's not at the origin 0, 0, then we just arrange our equations to include the coordinates h comma k. Okay, so if it's opening left or right, it's this version right here. If it's opening up or down, it's that version right there. So find an equation for the parabola that has vertex at 3, 5 with focus at 3, 7. So I'm just going to do a quick sketch here, okay? So I've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there is our vertex, and our focus is at 3, 7. So there's the focus. Now remember that the focus is always inside the parabola, so this parabola is opening up. That means x squared, well, that means x is being squared. It's going to be in this form right here. And, whoop, I left off a 4p there, didn't I? Let me put that in there. Should be a 4p in there. Okay, and that means that p is positive, and it will be 2. So we're ready to go. We've got x minus 3 squared equals 4 times 2 times y minus the y coordinate of the vertex, which in this case is 5. And that's it. Okay, so let's look at this example right here. Find the vertex and graph the parabola x minus 4 squared equals negative 2y. All right, x is being squared and 4p is negative, so this parabola is going to be opening down. All right, so what's the vertex? Well, h is 4, because that's what's being subtracted from x, and this is actually negative 2 times y minus 0, so k is 0. So we have a vertex at 4, 0. Okay, and 4p is equal to negative 2, so p is negative 1/2. It's opening down, so at negative 1/2 I'm going to put my focus right there, and the latus rectum is going to be 4 times the absolute value of p, which is 2. So I'm going to go that way and that way, one to the left and one to the right of the focus. Actually, I should be a little bit above that. Let me erase this here, because the latus rectum is on the same line as the focus, and it's coming out like that. And there we go. So our vertex is at 4, 0. It's opening down, and that's the shape of it.